Hey folks, and welcome back to another episode of Straight Talk Whiskey. I'm Nick here with you as always, and thanks for joining us for episode number 80. So, as you'll know, we are finishing up our mini-series on Glenmorangie's core range of whiskeys. So that's included the original, the Lasanta, the Quinta Ruban, and we'll finish it off with the lovely 12-year Nectar D'or. So, if you've been following the past couple weeks, you'll notice that this is really an educational experience on maturation in different types of fortified wines that have been aged in casks previously. So with the original, you had, I'm not going to say new, but American oak barrels that were used no more than twice. So we had that little provenance added to that. And then with the Lasanta, you had the sherry cask finish, which is an additional 2 years on top of the 10 years in the American oak barrel. And then we had the Quinta Ruban, which was aged in ex-port casks, or port pipes rather, for that additional 2 years to make that also a 12-year-old. So with the Nectar D'or, what we have is, again, the same 10 years in the American oak barrels, used no more than 2 times, and then it gets another 2 years of maturation in Sauternes casks. So that adds a little bit of interesting flavor, which complements most single malt Scotch really well, in just the intrinsic flavor profiles that a lot of those Highland Single Malts have to them. So let's first look at the color. One thing that you'll notice compared to the other two that have been aged in, let's see if I can get them out here. I don't know how well the color is going to show up, but there is a slight difference. Not going to get the original out, because that's just been in the, trying not to light things on fire here. So if you'll notice, a little bit hard to tell, you're going to tell the light, but the Lasanta is a little bit darker than the Nectar D'or. What you'll notice if you go to a wine shop, specialty shop, or whatever liquor store you're going into to pick up whiskey, or if you indulge in other spirits like I happen to do every now and then, you'll come across some fortified wines with sherry, all different kinds of sherry, different kinds of port, and oftentimes you'll see some Sauternes, which is interesting, because I don't have a lot of experience with that. I've never had Sauternes on its own. I've experimented a little bit more with the sherry wine and port. Really love port. I would love to get more into that and sort of the nuances and all that. You know, different regions, different types of port, and that sort of thing. Same with sherry. I really am not that well versed in it, but I have experimented. So next thing I'll have to get into is Sauternes. So anyway, just with the Sauternes, you'll notice, if you're at your store, you'll notice that it's a lot lighter in color than your port and sherry. So that's why I'm not getting as rich a hue with this. Again, I don't know if there's any caramel coloring added. I don't believe it says anywhere. No, not that I see. But the interesting thing is that with, I think I said this last time, but with the Quinta Ruban, it says that it's non-chill filtered. The Lasanta does not say it's non-chill filtered, as does the Nectar D'or doesn't say it, and the original doesn't say it. So why they picked just the Quinta Ruban and not Nectar D'or, which I'm pretty sure on its own must be higher in price, I'm guessing. But You let me know if that's actually not the truth, but I would think that that was the higher in their core range out of these four if you were to buy separate, standard 750 milliliter bottles in the US. So anyway, let's get into the nose. Really interesting. What's coming off first is just a really rich, juicy, ripe fruits. Really a lot of fresh berries. Raspberry, definitely. Blueberry. Getting a really good sense of bakery, like fruit pies. So like blueberry pie. Not so much apple pie, but definitely raspberry pie. Maybe a little hint of lime in there. We can throw key lime into the mix just because 3 makes a nice little number there. But also what you're getting in this, on top of the fruitiness, is this really nice malty, biscuity note to it. Really soft. Really earthy. Just like fresh barley. It's a really nice nose. And I should add that this is bottled at 46% ABV, which I believe is the highest of all of these. I could be lying. No, also the Quinta Rebound is 46, like I said last week, but the original and the Lasanta are 43, so 46 is nice, gives us a little bit more bang for our buck. In the case of the Nectar D'or, oftentimes you'll get a nose that's a little bit different from the taste. In this case, you got a direct correlation between the nose and the taste. I'm getting these really bright, light fruit, berry notes. The blueberry, the raspberry, like I said, strawberry, just really, really saturated there with a lot of fruits. And then there's a lemony sweetness. There's also a tartness to it. It's like a sweet and sour candy. Sprees, if you ever had those. It's got that sort of tartness to it. And that leads into the biscuity notes, the malted barley notes, the fresh baked bread sort of notes, pastries. Just really sweet in the sense that it's a nice, light fruitiness compared to the, pork pipe finish and the sherry cask finish, which has that fruity note to it, but it's a richer, deeper orchard kind of fruits to it. Definitely more earthy and I would say enveloped with like a nuttiness, a robustness, an earthy grittiness to it, if you will. Whereas the Nectar D'or is really elevated to a sense of just light, sweet. It's definitely got a fragrant bouquet to it in terms of the nose, but the flavor is just, it's phenomenal. It'd be great, after dinner dessert whiskey. A little bit of white grape in there too. And on the tip of the tongue, there is this peppery note to it, which is nice. It's got this really nice vanilla mouthfeel to it, which is smooth and sweet. And that little bit of texture on the tip of the tongue is a nice touch to it. The finish is long lasting and sweet. It lasts for miles. Just sort of trickles down the back of your throat instead of like a fleeting sort of experience to it. It's got a nice long-lasting finish, which is great. So that about wraps it up for our little Glenmorangie mini-series. I'm trying to remember the scores that I gave the last time. And for this, I'm going to go with and I don't believe this is the highest of all 4 of these, but I'll go with a 90 out of 100, just personal preference wise. Favorite out of all 4 of these, because I know somebody's going to ask, I would say the Quinta Ruban is probably my favorite out of these. Close second runner-up would be the La Santa, and then Nectar D'or, the original. It all comes down to price, what's available, to what your tastes are, budget, everything like that. So that's it for episode number 80. Thanks for joining us. And if you're going to drink responsibly, as always, and we'll see you next time.